Welcome, everyone. My name is Ryan, and we are back with episode number 8 of the UnReal world. That's right. And we are with our character Consolus. There he is, his physical profile looking pretty good. We got lucky with our rolls during character creation. And if you've missed any of the previous episodes, the playlist is linked down in the description for you. And of course, I've got lots of other UnReal World content as well, so check all that out if you do get caught up and you want more. But we're actually just returning from a quest where we discovered some hidden treasure. That is right. Our character is carrying quite a few things now. In addition to his normal outfit of tools and gear and stuff, we've got 2 masterwork hand axes. Oh wait, we also have a masterwork woodsman's axe. And of course the hand axe we bought, this one here. But yeah, I think we'll keep the woodsman's axe. These 2 here will definitely be trading away. And that's not all of what we got. So if we go past our clothing, we can see the elk antlers. That's something I brought with me, but there was several bags of grain and flour. Those we're going to take home and actually use, cook with and stuff. But I feel like, wasn't there something else? Let me see here. We got some masterwork leather boots too. Those we'll keep for the summer, spring and summer. Once the snow melts, we'll wear those around for sure. But yeah, just a little bit of inventory there. And of course, we're still returning. We're not back at home. So what I want to do is get into the gray culture here. Maybe explore some of the unknown regions, like these blacker areas. Maybe we can uncover some new villages we haven't visited yet. And I would like to return to some, not just the blacksmith here, because we do have an order, but it was only placed yesterday. There we go, the tooltip will stay. But the other villages, I'm really interested in some animals. Dogs for sure, and I might even go ahead and get a reindeer. Just for carrying purposes. You can load goods and stuff on animals. You can load goods and stuff onto your dogs too, but I prefer like one big beast or several big beasts depending on the load you're carrying. And ideally you would have like bulls, male cows, male bovine, whatever bulls. But yeah, most of the cultures up north here don't really have those kind of animals. It's usually reindeer and sometimes dogs. So like I said, let's explore around a little bit. We do have plenty of food, that's good, and if need be, we have more food at home, so we're not in any kind of distress with that. So it's time to move on. Let's see, this was the location, and I got everything from it, right? Yeah, I think we just left behind. There was some sort of slender pine trunk, yeah, and I can't carry that. Just because it puts me over. Oh yeah, that's right. We also got that little bronze bracelet there at the bottom. I wonder if we can wear that. No, it doesn't appear so. I know that we can obviously trade that bronze bracelet away, but I think bronze and silver are also required for certain rituals. None of the ones we currently have, the only active one I have is the general sacrifice. But yeah, as we progress and do more quests, we can open up and learn new rituals from shamans and other means. Oh good, here's a village. We'll visit this one right away. Oh, an elk too. But yeah, and for some of those high level rituals and spells, you do need shavings of precious metals. So we will definitely want to keep a silver and a bronze amulet or brooch or whatever. All right, let's speak with this gentleman. Hello. I always like to greet myself. This gentleman can heal me too. So we are still recovering from frostbite. Pretty bad case of it too. All right, so we got some help. Let's go ahead and greet them. I like to introduce myself, ask who they are, because especially if we plan on returning to these villages, then you definitely want to like tell them your name and stuff. And you will develop a rapport with them as time goes by, or a negative sort of relationship if you mistreat them. But okay, let's see. Let's chat around. Now it's also true that the first person you talk to, if there's any quests in the village, the first person will tell you about it. You don't have to go to the quest giver immediately. The person you talk to will just guide you in that direction. So, in other words, there isn't a quest here. Otherwise, that first guy would have told us. But I do want to See if they've got animals. No, they don't. Okay, well, there are a couple things, couple items I would like to trade for still. Maybe some extra arrows. Yeah, they've got 13 arrows right there. Some furs wouldn't be bad. It might not be a bad idea to trade away those masterwork axes that we had in exchange for some furs, but then again, keep in mind the furs I can actually get myself. There's more arrows there. Now we have a really great bow. In fact, I would say it's the best bow in the game, so we don't need a bow, but we could also maybe use a northern spear. If we come across one of those, I'll be looking to trade it, so we'll just peek into each one of their tents and see what they've got. Yeah, someone pointed out in the comments, reminded me, because I've been told this before, but I did forget, that you can use the northern spear in place of the inferior ski, or well, any ski pole, no matter what level it is. So that would be helpful right now, because essentially we'd still be armed. Although I guess I could use the ski pole as a weapon, but I wouldn't advise it. So, well, no northern spear, plenty of arrows, but I'm not going to initiate a trade just for arrows. You know what I'm saying? We are tired though. Maybe it's not a bad idea to head back into that village there and just sleep for the night. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. We're weary, it's early evening. I shouldn't even left. Our friendly village here, they will house me for the evening, and first thing in the morning, we'll set back out on our little adventure. Alright, we find ourselves in a brand new village I stumbled across, just traveling around here. There is a river that kind of cuts off this section, plus the lake would make it really hard to get here, but of course in the deep winter we can just skate right over the snow. You can walk over the ice too. You don't have to have skis, but I think there's a blacksmith. Whoop, let's greet this guy real quick. Yeah, I have sight on a blacksmith. Let's just ask, they have no animals. About this guy right here. Hello, sir. Okay, like to order some metalworks. What quality? He is a masterwork guy too. Wow. I don't think I'll actually do an order from him. Actually, it's not that far. And I can get to this one, it's not that difficult. We could just go up and around, even in the springtime. Well, I'll mark it for sure. There we go. Yeah, it's good to know that there's so many of these in different places, but let's at least investigate some of their buildings. They could be, I guess, a little bit wealthier considering the blacksmith. Small trident. We're not going to do any fishing, so I won't pick up a trident. They got a northern bow, skis. So the side of this actual log cabin building here, yeah, that indicates this is probably one of the wealthier, quote unquote, villages. Sadly, they still don't have animals. I do see some arrows here. Let's keep looking, and furs will be a constant. Oh, perfect skis. Wow. You don't see that perfect modifier very much, but actually this net too would be kind of cool. Where we've decided to set up our permanent base location, there's some water near it, which stays liquid. It doesn't freeze over during the winter. So we could have a nice little net set up where we get, a constant stream of salmon or something delicious. But we'll come back. Like I said, I'm focused on just a few things. And hey, although we did just find some buried treasure, we're not rich yet. A couple of masterwork hand axes are going to be nice, but won't buy us that much. So let's see. And like I said, if I can find a dog, that's number one priority for me right now. Some canine friends, they're not just great, to have around, but they really do help protect you. And then we can start thinking about tangling with bears and stuff, because as much as I do love my four-legged friends, when it comes to a hunt, they are basically my shield. If we get into a bad encounter, or if we go fight a bear, even wolves, but I never tangle with wolves. I will intentionally try and hunt a bear if I've got a few dogs with me, but not the wolves. No, definitely not. All right, Consolus finds himself in another village, and although they don't have any animals for sale, I've already checked, they do have a couple of lit fires here by their tent, so we're going to take advantage of that and go to our skills, then physician, and yeah, let's heat up these poor body parts by the fire. That's effectively the only treatment we have for frostbite. But if we find a village with a shaman in it, which most of them have one, I don't think they all necessarily will, but it's not as hard to find as like a blacksmith, although blacksmith are fairly common too. But either way, I digress. The frostbite needs to be treated regularly, and of course I have to make sure I keep my body at a nice warm, comfortably warm level. We definitely don't want to drop back into the cold, or even worse, the freezing area. So let's fill our belly with some delicious dried elk cuts. Nothing better than jerky on the road or for a main course meal. Everybody loves jerky. Well, most people do. Either way, let me continue to scour the tents looking for choice trade goods, and whenever I find something interesting, I'll bring you guys right back for the fun. Oh boy, I tell you what, this bird tribe, the Greys, they don't have a lot of animals. Out of all the villages we've come across, including the newest ones, yeah, there's only one that I've marked, and it's reindeer. So I think what we'll do is buy this northern spear that I just found. That's right. So even though this village doesn't have animals, I finally came across a northern spear, which is awesome. So we're going to pick that up. That'll allow us to ditch that inferior ski pole. And in addition, I'm going to grab some arrows. Like I said, I'd like to replenish our supply. I'm going to grab more than I need, probably. And there are better types of arrows too, like broadhead, fine broadheads and stuff. So eventually we'll upgrade, but I mean, I think I only had like 8. Yeah, we're only down to 8. So now with this stack here, I can freely just shoot off at animals, and I don't have to worry about retrieving my ammunition, and throwing the hunt off. But either way, let's get down to trading now. So that's really the only 2 things I want other than dogs. Let's go ahead and greet them, introduce ourselves before we initiate the trade, and let's do it. All right, so we're going to barter. And right off the bat, I'll just put one of the hand axes up as a good start. Oh boy, this might be tough. Let's put the other one up there, halfway. Okay, that's better. And I want to keep those boots. We do have some rough leggings and mittens, so I'll toss those on the trade pile, but he probably won't want them, because I think the reason I'm still carrying them is because the last person didn't want them. Okay, but all the other clothing we're currently wearing, so we'll keep that. The antlers can go. And let's see. I do have a lot of grain. Let's do a bag of grains. What's he say? Unworthy. However, the rest is accepted, which you've offered 2/3. Okay, so yeah, the mittens are no good. Neither the leggings. And he doesn't want the antlers. That's too bad. All right, let's continue. Got these 2 bags of grains. Now, the flour we're keeping because that's processed and we can make bread with it and stuff. I don't know. We might be able to use the grains as for certain recipes to sprinkle in too. And otherwise, I might want to sell it. I kind of want these bags though. All right, that's all we've got. Oh, the bronze bracelet. Let's put that up. Oh, okay. It's a deal, buddy. Let's go. That's good. We can get more of the jewelry, too. I was mentioning about the need for questing. Like I said, that's still a ways off. We've only done 1 quest, so we're nowhere near it, but hopefully we'll get some rituals like that. Either way, let me go ahead and drop the inferior ski pole. There we go. And we will now wield our northern spear. And of course we maintain our skis, so that means it's working. Beautiful. Now, I should say, unfortunately, it's not like a really high quality northern spear. It would have been nicer to get like a masterwork, but this is the first one I've seen after searching like 4 or 5 of these villages, so I'm happy with this for now. And again, we might want to upgrade. I think, yeah, there's another blacksmith right here too at this one. This is actually, the blacksmith is a relatively recent introduction to the game, comparatively speaking, but I don't like just how common they are. I wish it was a bit more rare. Like, I think if you went back to Iron Age, Earth, Finland, you wouldn't see that many. There wouldn't be more than like one or two blacksmiths. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, let's just go ahead and see what type he is. His goods are decent quality. You know what? We already know of two masterworks, so in reality, I don't think this is worth marking him. So we've got what we want from this village. They served us well. I introduced myself, of course, so they know my name, and maybe we'll get a quest from them one day. But for now, let's disappear into the darkness of the woods, exit to the world map, and I think it's safe for us now to head back home. Considering I don't have too much else that's really worth trading or that I want to trade away, yeah, we're keeping everything else. So let's make the journey. I would have liked to pick up that reindeer, but nonetheless, we get back home. This, of course, right here, this green campsite is where we are currently living, but I think we decided in this base location. Yeah, I set up some seal traps here. There it is. Visited 7 days ago. So it'll be good to get back there and see what's in the traps, or if anything. But this will be our eventual home. For now, though, we're headed back to camp number 8. Sleeping out under the stars in the dead of winter is a pretty chilly experience, so it is time to stop on our little adventure, or on our return from the adventure. We're not quite home yet, but I want to start this fire, so I'm going to drop some branches. There we go. Brought those with me just for this purpose, so look at that big roaring fire. Now we can, let's see if we need to treat, yeah, still need to keep an eye on this, and we'll warm up as we treat ourselves. It is late night. My sleep schedule's a little off because I just woke up, but I can still just kind of rest here. Boom. Yeah, if I just pass a bit of time, we're sweating a lot. We've treated everything. It's after midnight. Don't worry about forest fires. That won't happen. Although you can light your own structures on fire by accident, so just be careful if you built yourself a cabin where you place your fires at. But either way, let's go ahead and zoom back out. Jump to the world map and take a look where we're at. Yeah, we're getting closer. Not far at all. Let's make the journey together here. Should be relatively safe, but no place is truly safe here in the Unreal world. You can get attacked by, or waylaid, I should say, by robbers, but sometimes you can get away from them without a conflict. It's just very difficult. So either way, we've made it. And I think we can get our sleep schedule back on course here. Yeah, so we've arrived home. Oh, I left some of this meat sitting out, but hopefully that fox that was messing around in our area didn't eat it all. Let's see, why can't I pick everything up? There we go. Boom. Okay, so in addition to the goods we just brought home, we've got some extra food. So I'm going to do a little bit of inventory management after we sleep. Let's do that. Good morning. We're vigorous. See, that's perfect. Everything's good. Oh, wow, there are lots of tracks everywhere. Yeah, and we've got this leather. It's cured. It's dehaired. I was going to turn it into leather, but the fox stole my fat. And I realized, too, on the journey home, I should have traded for some of they have balls of, like, birch bark strips at the villages that we were just there. That would have worked, I believe. And I totally forgot about it. But it's not the end of the world. We don't need the leather, Our current set of clothing is enough to keep us warm, for the most part, but regardless, we will have to keep an eye out for some. Or once the spring comes around and we can start to peel our own bark, that's what we'll do. Now that we're home, it's time to get back out on the hunt. That's right, it never stops. You can never have too much meat or too many skins, in my opinion, because you can always trade them away for valuable stuff. But first, before we do some active hunting, let's check on our traps and do some passive hunting. So this is that site I was mentioning. Yeah, I don't see anything in the big deadfalls, but it's not a surprise. I was still kind of uncertain if seals can even reach this square, because although we are next to open, unfrozen water, I think it's not necessarily linked to the greater ocean at the moment. Once the ice thaws, I have more confidence in our traps, but we'll see. Seals are a slippery bunch. I've done a series where I actively hunted seals, and it was a struggle, although I was able to get a couple. But trapping is probably the best method, although not totally reliable. Nonetheless, there's a trader near us, but I'm not going to initiate any kind of contact with them. Not because we're antisocial here, there's another trader, but I don't have any furs to trade him, so let's continue to look for some game. One of the good parts about being in the northern areas here is that there are plenty of caves, lots of caves. And, that's interesting. I've done a different playthrough, which was completely centered on cave living. That's right, we role-played as strictly a cave person, but not this one, although I think for this one we might just use it to sleep here at night. It's late evening, and if we can find, there we go, a regular tree, I'll cut down a few branches. We'll go ahead and make ourselves a quick torch and a small little fire. That should probably be enough. 27. Whoops, I zoomed out. Yeah, alright, so let's position ourselves here. I like to explore the cave a little bit. It's not entirely necessary, but you never know. There could be a bear or something here. So let's go ahead and whip together a torch. We'll hit Shift plus M, U for utility, and then one torch, please. Oh no, I need tying equipment for the torch. Darn it. They've made it more difficult. But maybe not totally impossible. Let's go ahead and move away from the cave so I can zoom out. If we dive into the forest, I bet you can find, there's one right there, dead ahead. Let's knock this little guy down. Alright, we'll pick that up. And again, to the Shift plus M. Then we'll hit Y, and we'll make a spruce withy. Oops, sapling. Beautiful. Only took us 5 minutes, so didn't exhaust us, although we are weary, so we are getting there. We're getting closer. Oops, I just scaled the mountain. Hopefully we can get back down here. Sometimes the cliffs are a little bit tricky, but never take them into diagonal if you can help them. Alright, either way, here we go. Let's zoom back in. We're approaching what will hopefully be our rest area for the night. Alright, we're going to do Shift plus M, U, 5, 1. And now we can use one of these. Beautiful. Okay, we still need to actually light the fire, so let's do the branches, step away from them, fire it up. Yes. It's asking me this to confirm it, I believe, because we're inside of a structure like this with the open fire, and I think technically, oh, it's not doing too well here. There we go. Okay, yeah, so you can see it kind of changed, too. That appears more like what the interior of a building looks like, but either way, I guess we can just imagine that the snow around it just kind of melted away. But all right, so let's light up our torch. See, if I tried to enter this darkness here of the cave without a lit torch, then it would just remain darkness, and I would literally be stumbling around in the pitch black. And like I said, who knows what's in here? I have come across people inside of caves too. Oh, look at this. Speaking of which, I think we just came across either a little treasure hoard or somebody's old campsite. Alright, let's completely check everything. No, don't climb the cliff. Yeah, what is this though? There's some stuff here. Linen foot rags. I guess I'll pick it up. A spear haft. That's interesting. We'll definitely take that. And a nettled tunic. Wow. Well, it's not the best, but we'll go ahead and loot. And we'll loot the guy's campsite. And yeah, we are weary, like I said. So that was interesting. Neat little find inside of a cave. That's rare. I don't think I've ever found something in a cave that wasn't like I specifically went to for a quest itself, like a treasure quest. But all right, let's get out of here, leave the scene of the crime. I hope whoever we just took that stuff from is long gone and didn't really need it. But either way, there's no consequences for our actions. Let's continue to search for an elk. Oh, look at that. Literally, it popped right in. As soon as I said the word elk, I think it might have been exactly the same moment. Either way, we're in a decent... we are carrying a lot of weight. A good portion of that is axes and tools. Now the spear haft. My skis are also kind of weighty. The difference, between hunting in the summer and the winter, a large difference is the weight that you'll be carrying, because you're definitely going to be carrying more in the winter. But that being the case, I think we'll just continue. Yeah. All right, let's encounter this thing and go for the hunt. All right, here we go. So there is a bit of juggling we have to do, essentially. We can go and zoom in for this part, but for the rest of the hunt, I will have to be totally zoomed down. For now, though, let's go into stealth, because we're behind the animal. It doesn't see me, and of course, we can tell its direction not only by the sprite itself, but by the little blue arrow. That gives you a definite indication of where this animal is facing. And we are now in stealth, because we're kind of shaded green here. We're going to have to wield our bow. No, I'm sorry, we have the bow, so I have to wield the arrow. There we go. Replaces the ski stick or the northern spear, vice versa. It's going to replace either one when you do this. So if I were to move now, we would lose our skis. I should re-say that. We don't lose the skis, we just stop skiing. The skis will be in my inventory, essentially, but we won't gain the benefit of their movement. So, like I said, a little bit of juggling. What I have to do now is fire the arrow. So let's choose our T. There we go. Choose our target. We'll just go for a body shot. Nailed it. Hits the shoulder. Again, now is when we zoom out. Let me take a look at it. Suffering from a minor puncture. It's walking lame. That's good news for us. Could be making it much easier to follow, and it is carrying the arrow too, so if we get the animal, I'll get my arrow back. But all right, now, like I said, if we move at this point, we won't have the benefit of the ski. So let's go ahead and wield that spear again. Now we're good. I successfully juggled between the spear and the ammo, and then back to the spear, and let's follow. Let's see, look, slightly fatigued. All right, and we will continue to ski after it. I'm no longer in stealth, so it clearly sees me, but it's not spooked yet. There it goes. Okay, so it's moving. Now, another disadvantage of being in the winter, even though I am skiing, it's most likely that my endurance is I'm going to get fatigued as I travel here. Now, I'm pretty sure that our skiing skill will help to kind of mitigate that a bit. So the better you are at skiing, you're eventually probably going to be able to ski it without much of a penalty to the endurance. But for now, we're not that great, so I got to really balance it. And obviously, I can't run or anything. Should we take another shot at it? I mean, it's really given me the opportunity here, isn't it? Let's do another one. Nailed it. Dropped it unconscious. Okay. I'm still going to wield, and I bet you as we move close, it'll probably get back up. Yeah, there it goes. Looks like my arrow might be broken. Broken arrow there, so I'm just going to ignore it. No big deal. We've got plenty now. We just traded for him. All right, and the hunt continues as normal. I simply try and reacquire the animal visually. There it is. Immediately look at it. We can see it is now walking, or it's suffering from 2 injuries. It's still walking lame, obviously, and it's slightly fatigued. So, not really trying to kill it via bow and arrow. I'd rather just wear it out and then get into melee with it, as I normally do. But like I said, it was really just giving me that easy opportunity here. So let's ski. I am in stealth, but that's going to slow me down quite a bit. We can see our speed indicator up here. So I want to stick with the animal. You know, if you give it too much time off of screen, then it'll start to recover its fatigue. Okay, let's take a look at it because it's just visible. Oh, now it's very fatigued. That's great news for us. It's one stage away from breathless, which means I could probably take my skis off and just walk right up to it if we wanted. But in other words, we'll be able to kill it easily if we can get it exhausted completely. Yeah, I can tell I'm currently gaining on it. Just at my normal skiing pace of 4 miles an hour, yeah, we're doing good. This animal is almost certainly in the bag, although nothing is guaranteed. I think it's No Country for Old Men when Tommy Lee Jones gives the speech about how nothing is guaranteed in a contest of man versus animal, but his ultimate point is man versus man, especially. But it's true, too, when you're dealing with animals of any type, whether domesticated, wild, they can be unpredictable, especially when injured. So we do have to treat the elk carefully, but we're not going to remove the skis. And the great part about the northern spear is that I can just use this to knock out the legs. All right, let's repeat that command. Okay, it is trying to attack me. In fact, I need to dodge it. And it says we quickly dodge aside. Its hoof stabs the thin air, so it missed us. It's trying to flee again. I'm just hitting it. All right, dodge. Missed me. If I successfully knock it down, then we'll go into like headshots with it. Try and deliver the coup de grace. But for right now, I like to, there we go, try and disable the animals. So now let's go for some headshots here. Blunt to the skull. Oh, now it's dead. One hit like that. Man, the northern spear, it's deadly even with the blunted edge of it. So, well, like I said, we can go ahead and retrieve our arrows now. Oh, that's the arrowhead. Interesting. I'll grab that. Maybe we can replace it or trade it away or something. But, of course, the elk carcass itself is a little bit too big for me to pick up. So now is the time for the skinning and the butchering. But, you know, the smart thing, considering the fact that we still do have frostbite, I think we should prepare ourselves a little fire here. Nothing too elaborate. We don't have to build a shelter or anything like that. I'll just knock down some branches, take down the tree itself, and let's get it started. This elk kill was basically in our backyard. Could have been a little closer, but it's not far at all. So once we've skinned it, as we're going to do right at this moment, oh, it's just a bird flies in. Let's go ahead and start the fire now. Boom, there we go. So we don't have to worry about warmth. And of course, we're a little bit fatigued, quite a bit fatigued actually, not 100%, but it's worth it to rest here. And we should have the raw skin on us, yeah. Winter elk skin, 21 pounds. Now, I bet we're not going to be able to carry all this meat in one go. Let's go ahead and grab the bones too. So what I like to do is come out to the map like this. First of all, let's rest. There we go. Yeah, even fully rested, we're over the weight. So we're going to drop some extraneous stuff. Let's drop the bones. I kind of want to try and keep all 200 pounds of meat with me, so let's drop that. The winter skin is really valuable. I will drop my water because that's another 5 pounds. Foot rags, the tunic, we're going to come back for all of this, so it's not that big of a deal. But I might even drop the 29 arrows. That's almost 3 pounds of stuff. Oh, and my axe too. This one as well. Yeah. All right. So, wow, it's still over. Yeah. Like I said, we're fully rested, so all I need to do is drop the right amount of weight. Northern Spear, no, I need that for traveling. Yeah, oh, I don't need the withy. Well, looks like I'm going to have to drop some of the meat, but it's not the end of the world. If this were the summer, then it would make a difference, because that meat would probably spoil whatever I leave behind. But in this cold climate, it's most likely going to be totally fine by the time we get back here. And I'm going to be real careful about this. No, just min-max it here. All right, let's do 50. There we go. So yeah, immediately drops us below. And very important step here is to mark it, because Yeah, it's not obvious where this is going to be. When you try and return, especially if it's far, you won't know it on the world map. You'll see it on this, map here if you happen to get lucky and stumble across it. But I know myself and I'll forget. So even though it's a pretty straight shot, yeah, it was almost immediately in the same line. Regardless, we're here and we're weary. So I think I'm going to have to sleep and return in the morning. But even with that extended amount of time, I'm confident the food will be fine. And of course, my axe and stuff will be totally safe there. I don't have to worry about that at all. But we've done it. We've got ourselves another hunt, but it doesn't end there. No, no, no. Although we are going to end today's episode, the hunting will continue because we're really trying to build up a nice stash of furs. And I want to go south to the Drick. As I've said a few times, there they are. Yeah, these folks here are going to have the animals that we want. So even though it's a bit of a journey, if we can do it while the ice is still solid, it'll be quick. But like I said, we need more kills. So I hope you'll tune in for the next couple of episodes where we really start to put on the pressure. Maybe we can get a reindeer herd. That would be ideal. But either way, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the UnReal World. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.